Coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona, home of Super Bowl 57, it's the Geary, Stein and Stevens Show with your hosts, Troy Geary, Will Stein, and Dave Stevens.
Well, I've got a treat. This is quite unexpected, but it's awesome that my old buddy Ryan Leaf is joining us on Radio Row. He now lives in Connecticut, where I live in Connecticut, and we got to come to Arizona just to get together. I know we've been trying to for a while, but Ryan Leaf joining us, and it's great to have you here. Does this get old to you, the chaos and the minutia of these Radio Rows?
When I think about it, like the idea of it doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but then I forget when I get here. I get to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a year, you in particular. That's it's almost a reunion of sorts, and that's what it ultimately becomes. And then I remember my platform and why I do it and what we're going to talk about, and then it becomes incredibly purposeful.
I mean, we don't have to go crazy into your story. If anyone knows history, they know what you've been through and everything. But do you get tired of having to share that and putting your heart on your sleeve every time, being intimate, just letting everyone see how vulnerable you were?
Well, I don't have to do it because these are such, short moments here. When I go and speak around the country, that's where you really dive into it and kind of get that transparent, vulnerable thing. So no, it doesn't, it doesn't affect me like that. And most people, like you talked about, have heard the story, understand it, kind of just want to know what we're up to, and then we want to talk about the game. And
yeah,
so that's a big part. A friend of mine actually came up to me and said, "My son, my son was so psyched I met you today," and he's like, and he knows you as a broadcaster. That's how he knows you, rather than than a football player or whatever else. So it's good. It's ever evolving.
I'm so glad. And again, we can evolve. And the person I've watched you grow and so much in the last few years, and ESPN and Big Ten and all over, and the successes. And I know Troy is a big fan of you off the field and on the field, right?
Yeah, mostly off the field. I mean, I'm just admire. Everybody goes through something, but for you to kind of turn it around and then speaking around the country and your message. I just want to kind of talk about that for a second.
Yeah, because what you said as far as having to not talk about it, and we'll move on now. But I like that we can move on.
I didn't hear if it was the end of a question.
Oh, okay.
I thought something messed on his.
I think his mic went off, but
no, it's incredibly purposeful, man. I mean, that's like, if that's not at the foundation of who I am, I don't get to experience or enjoy any of the things that I get to do now. I think
like being a dad. You're a good dad.
I appreciate that. I'm proud. He was here yesterday. Did you see him running around?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, he was running around. He was doing interviews. He's a big Chiefs guy. He was all on the Chiefs all day yesterday. So, he's finally starting to learn what his dad does, and that his dad played football and things like that. So he's starting to enjoy it a little bit. He's getting to the age where I can kind of take him to these types of things, and he can have a blast doing it.
Are you going to ever have to have that conversation when in 5-10 years he Googles you and sees things that, again, you can be proud of who you are now? Like, I mean, you have to think about that?
My wife and I actually were having a conversation about it the other day, whether we preempt it and have the conversation with him, or if, we wait until, kids can be brutal, and someone may try to bully him or make fun of his dad or something like that, right? And then he comes home with questions. I'd rather have him empowered and knowledgeable than to be surprised, I think, or something like that. I'm pretty sure we'll probably have a conversation with him. I think it actually makes me a better dad because, I don't know if a lot of people would have a conversation around addiction and mental health and law, and the justice system and things like that. Why would you? I know my parents never had those conversations with me.
Well, that's I don't think you guys are prepped enough when you're young, and all those things, the intangibles that they throw at you. That's why I was going to ask the next question. Is college football in trouble with what's going on with, being able to pay the students now, and then these students basically are free agents? It's like the NFL at an early age. We've got players that are now, they've played at a different college 4 years in a row. And now what we used to do under the table is above the table.
Well, I think everything that is in the dark now in the light. I think that's great. I think advocating for players' rights is wonderful, and I don't think for a moment it's going to ruin college football. it doesn't matter who's playing. It's still going to be the team you root for. You may just not be able to invest in a roster for 5 consecutive years like you have been in the past. You may have a guy that comes in out of nowhere. And I think my alma mater kind of figured that out a little bit when the Gardner Minshew came in as a grad transfer and had the winningest season in the history of Washington State, right? You can still – and he became immediately what the Washington State Cougars are all about. And so I think that happens everywhere. And I don't think for a minute the people that are clamoring that it's going to ruin college football, that those are guys that are just they just fear change too much.
Well, before we let you go, we got to ask you the big question. I'm sure you've talked a lot about it this week. What are you looking for this Sunday? And do you have a prediction?
Well, I hope it's a great game, which I anticipate it being. I think the defense ultimately finds a way to win this football game on one end or the other. But I do think it's a higher scoring game than people expect. I think offense is kind of let loose a little bit, and it's a good football game and down to the wire. And Philadelphia, with that defense, creates a turnover late, gets them into field goal range, and Philly wins 34-31.
Wow. Before you go, do you like the way the league treats quarterbacks now? Do you think they're pampering them too much? Do you think, I know that your quarterback is pretty much the most important person on that roster and they get paid the most, so they're trying to protect them, but it seems like it's not as much football as it used to be. It's
not great football because of it. I understand it completely and why they're doing it. It's because the quarterback runs the league, right? They make the money. They're the stars. So I understand why they're doing it. The NFL understands how to make money, right? They're a money printing machine. So they're going to do and protect what they need to do. So I don't like it. I played the position. I know how hard it was to know you got a guy coming at your legs or at your head or throwing across the middle, knowing your guy's going to get blown up. You didn't do things necessarily the same because of it. So it's the game, again, like we talked about evolution and change. It's changed. And now the game is what it is, and it's fast break basketball on grass is what it is, and it's still entertaining and fun to watch.
And that's weird because nobody ever went after my legs when I was playing. So
it's because you don't have any legs, Dave.
You're so mean to me. As we wrap up, where can people see you on TV, social media, everywhere? Because I know you're all over. You're doing stuff that I got to do too. I hate it as much as you do.
I know it's great. I got a great opportunity to start working with PointsBet Sportsbook this year. We started my own show called The Straight Line with Ryan Leaf, 4 days a week. You can catch it on YouTube right now. It's become incredibly powerful and fun for me. We do a bunch of analysis, and then we dipped our toe into the sports betting side of things because it's the future, And I turns out I'm pretty darn good at it. I ended up 33 games over 500 this year. So anybody who was following me, trailing me this year, made some money.
That sounds pretty good, man. So Ryan, thank you so much for joining us and just being, a friend. And I never forget the first time we ever sat down and had lunch together with my kids.
Yeah.
And it's just been nice to, again, let you be you and not bring up, the past and just, let you be the success that you are now. And I've just watched you on TV. I've watched you on all the, I was always curious though for you, that transition when everyone picked on you so much as an analyst. Do you feel like it keeps you from really, going off on people?
Oh yeah, it definitely does. I am not hypercritical of anybody. Like if I see a mistake, mostly when I see mistakes, they're mistakes that I made. So they're relatable to me and I'll talk about them, whether it's behaviorally or if it's when you do something on the football field. So yeah, but I'm not hypercritical. I'm not just out there to have a hot take to get more clicks or things like that. Even though I think sometimes my content bots want some of that to be the case, it's not the driving force of what I try to do. I try to be as fair and fun and and don't take things too super seriously.
All right, Ryan Leaf joining us on Radio Row, wrapping up our day. Thank you, my friend. I hope we can get together when we get back to Minnesota and things cool down. But you're going to be starting college football. Connecticut. What did I say?
Minnesota. Why'd you move to Minnesota, bro?
I lived there 9 years. He's the one in Minnesota. It's been a long day.
Yeah,
really.
Thank you very much, Dave.
All right, Ryan Leaf joining us on Radio Row. Just a good dude. And again, follow him, watch him, listen to him. He does a lot of good things. As Troy gets our ball signed that's going to wrap it up. This is it from Radio Row today. We're going to start bright and early. We got Andrew Zimmern joining us. If you've watched him from the Food Channel and Food Network, talking about the taste of the NFL and all those things NFL that are going to be going on this week. It is a great weekend for charity and parties and all kinds of stuff around town. But we're going to get out of here tonight, try to call it an early night, get some editing done, and get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow is the NFL Honors. We'll be on the red carpet doing all that stuff for you, for Ability Media, for the Disability Channel, and for me. So I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to get something to eat and drink and call it a night for me here at Radio Row. For Troy, for Will, for everybody that's been a part of us, thank you. And again, we thank you for the people that support us and, of course, our sponsors. Fresh Clean Threads. You got that Super Bowl exclusive. Go to freshcleantees.com/GSS show. Use the code touchdown. You type it in, you get 25% off. Again, sometimes you'll jump in and get out, but you're going to get it. So go to freshcleantees.com, type in GSS show, and get that exclusive. All right, that's going to do it from Radio Row. I'm Dave Stevens. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow.